Forced Respawn.
A sinister plot. Darth Malak and his Sith forces have learned that Jedi Knight Bastila Shan is alive on the quarantined planet of Taris. AMPEDHERO and SOTHE, alongside Republic officer Carth Onasi, have traversed every section of the planet in order to find Bastila, all while encountering new allies and enemies along the way. Now our heroes must find a way off Taris before the Sith can enact their deadly scheme.
We take Bastila back to the apartment and we catch her up on the events that have led us to this point by having her watch the previous episode. She is impressed with it and says we might be force sensitive because of our editing skills, but I think she may just be flirting with me. We step out of the apartment complex and we are stopped by a messenger.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Ah, a letter from the Jarl. Moving up in the world, eh?
He informs us that Canderous the Mandalorian... Stop that!
That's not funny! It's never been funny! It's never gonna be funny!
Anyway, he says that Canderous the Mandalorian, thank Talos, wants to meet us in the cantina. We agree and think of Kadir, the great bringer of the cleansing, for instructions on how to find the cantina again.
Just keep following the apartment complex ring until you come to the elevator. It'll take you out to the upper suites there. And from there, just head south a ways. You can't miss it.
We then go across the street to the cantina where Canderous is there to meet us.
Canderous offers us a deal that is pretty hard to pass up. He is offering us passage off-world in exchange for doing a little bit of a job for him. A heist, if you will. He needs us to break into the Sith military base and steal the Sith departure codes. If we can get those codes for him, he will give us access to a ship, the Ebon Hawk, and take us off-world. He informs us that there is a droid waiting to be picked up at the droid repair shop that was intended for his boss, Davik. We can take the droid and use it to get into the Sith military base. We agree and part ways. This is our last opportunity to complete any loose ends we might have, so we finish off the dueling arena and turn in the cure for the Rakul disease to Zelka.
For Megantron, however, there is one more battle. The retired Bendak Starkiller. Bendak agrees to our challenge, but will only fight in an illegal deathmatch, which will net us darkside points if we participate. We take him out as Megantron and collect his bounty. He was talking a whole lot of smack, so he deserved it.
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of lead time!
After completing those tasks, we go towards the other section of the upper city, where we spot 2 Republican senators harassing an alien.
I'm going to commit a radical act.
You know, but we have a real war that has been declared on America, and they're killing over 300 people a day, and that's being waged by the Mexican cartels. Not the Mexican government, but the Mexican cartels.
We scare them by telling them about the Sith space lasers that control the weather, and they run off to go post about it on Twitter.
After dealing with that, we make our way to the droid repair store and pick up Davik's droid. The droid's name is T3M4, and they act sort of as the R2-D2 of our group. In this game, T3 character-wise is okay, but in Kotor 2, they are a lot more entertaining and have a bigger personality.
We head across the way and enter the Sith military base, where we meet with the receptionist, who we pay off to leave without raising the alarm. Once the terminal is clear, T3 rolls up and splices into the terminal, causing all kinds of havoc. From making the security droids turn on their Sith masters, to causing an overloading of the power conduits to clear rooms, and we also sabotage the heavy Sith droid guarding the elevator for good measure. We go through doing some cleanup and getting some items, and we even free our Duros friend who helped us earlier in the story. And then we make our way up to the higher levels after dealing with the security droid that is guarding the elevator. There is a Sith commander waiting for us here, and he senses that we are strong in the Force. We attempt to persuade him to the light, but he's not having any of it and attacks. After an intense battle, we are able to defeat him and steal the Sith departure codes. From there, we make our way to the lower city.
We make our way into the lower city undetected and rush over to the cantina where Canderous is waiting for us. He praises us for our work and says he's got us an invitation to his boss's estate. For our part, we will be posing as a potential new recruit for Davik's organization, and when the time is right, we'll steal the Ebon Hawk. We prepare to leave and take Karth with us just in case. Bastila is too much of a known element, plus we'll need him to pilot the ship. We make our way to Davik's estate, but unknown to any of us, in the skies above Terrace, the Dark Lord of the Sith stands upon the Sith battleship the Leviathan to personally oversee his latest plan.
You summoned me, Lord Malak.
The search for Bastila is taking too long. We cannot risk her escaping Taris. Destroy the entire planet.
The entire planet, Lord Malak. But there are billions of people on Taris. We'd be slaughtering countless innocent civilians, not to mention our own men still on the surface.
Your predecessor once made the mistake of questioning my orders, Admiral. Surely you are not so foolish as to make the same mistake.
Of course not, my Lord Malak. I will do as you command, but it will take several hours to position our fleet.
Then I suggest you begin immediately. You are dismissed, Admiral.
Yes, Lord Malak.
We arrive at Davik's estate, and he gives us a surprisingly warm introduction. We have heard so many terrible things about this man, but he seems pretty composed. He gives us a tour of his estate, including a peek at his pride and joy, the Ebon Hawk, the fastest ship in the galaxy.
What a piece of junk!
Davik takes us to our quarters and explains that we must remain here for a few days so they can do a background check on us. He warns us that we must stay in this wing and we are not allowed to speak to any of the other guests. However, we are allowed to take advantage of the slave quarters for a massage if we wish. We explore the facility until we come across a man who's being tortured. We destroy the droids, keeping him in his cell, and we free him. He thanks us, and while he doesn't have any money to give us, he does give us something just as valuable: the access codes to get into the Ebon Hawk.
We rush to the hangar bay, and as we do, we notice the building is shaking and we can hear loud noises from outside. The door opens and we see that the Sith are bombarding the planet to prevent Bastila's escape. We also notice that Davik and Callow are also attempting to flee.
Damn those Sith, they're bombing the whole planet. I knew they'd turn on us sooner or... Oh, look what we got here. Thieves in a hangar. So, you figured you'd just steal my ship for your getaway and leave me high and dry while the Sith turn the planet into dust? Sorry, but that ain't gonna happen.
I'll take care of them, Davik. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Make it quick, Carlo. The Sith mean business. If we don't get to our ships and find somewhere safe, the bombs they're dropping will kill us all.
After an intense battle, we manage to put an end to the vile crime lord. Backed into a corner, Callow results in using dirty tactics.
He had me outnumbered and outgunned. If I'm going down, I'm taking all of you with me.
Because he's holding a thermal detonator!
The building comes crashing down around us from a stray blast, and Callow is crushed beneath the rubble. We could try to help him, but there's no time. We rush to the Ebon Hawk and take off to collect our friends. We also try to save Kadir, but he tells us to fly, you fools! And he sacrifices himself so that we might live.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
The building doesn't clean itself, you know.
We are not out of the woods yet as we attempt to flee. Sith fighters pursue us, and we have no choice but to climb into the gun turrets and try to take them out before they take us out. Finally, we manage to escape and make the jump to hyperspace. Our destination? A hidden Jedi enclave on Dantooine, where we can rest and recover, and maybe, just maybe, become a Jedi.
The Ebon Hawk finally makes it to safety and comes in for a landing on Dantooine's Jedi Enclave, a sanctuary for Jedi to learn the ways of the Force away from the rustle and bustle of Coruscant. We regroup and check on Mission to see how she's holding up after witnessing her home destroyed by the Sith. During our adventures on Taris, she had started to open up to us a bit about her past and her brother who left her behind, so we hope that she'll open up to us a bit more.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was thinking about Taris. I still can't believe it's gone. I mean, I grew up there and now it's just gone. I don't really think there's anything you can say. I just have to find some way to deal with it, I guess. It'll take some time. Look, I'm not saying I can't go on or anything like that. It's a shock, you know? I mean, I knew the Sith were evil and all, but the reality of it kind of slaps you in the face. But I suppose that's why we need to stop Malik, right? The more time I spend dwelling on Taris, the more chance some other planet will get wiped out. I guess that's what it comes down to. So don't worry about me. I'll be okay. And if you need my help against Malik or the Sith, I'll be there for you.
After opening up to us about Terra, she decides that she wants to tell us more about her brother and how she wound up on the doomed planet. It's a pretty gut-wrenching story, and apparently her brother just dumped her there on Taris and then ran off with a woman named Lena. She changes the subject when she gets upset, so we leave it be. We then head over to the right and we find a YouTuber that is trying to get us to subscribe to his channel. After hitting that like and subscribe button because we want to see this small channel grow, we head further into the Jedi Enclave where we meet with Bastila and the Jedi Council members. We are welcomed by the Council and discuss a great many number of topics, including the Force bond Bastila and I seem to share, and they discuss if I should be trained as a Jedi. They dismiss us so they can talk about the matter further in private, and we get some much needed rest, and as we sleep, the Force gives us a vision.
Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
No, what we actually see is a vision of Darth Revan and Darth Malik exploring a strange tomb.
The dark side is strong in this place. I can feel its power. Is this wise? The ancient Jedi sealed this archway. If we pass beyond this door, we can never go back. The Order will surely banish us. Are the secrets of the Star Forge so valuable? Can its power truly be worth the risk?
Wake up the next morning and head outside. Karth tells us that we look like crap and that Bastila also looked rough when she left earlier. He tells us the council is waiting for us, so we head back to the council chamber. Here we've learned that we formed a bond with Bastila through the Force that allowed us both to see the same vision. It's clear to the council that we must investigate that tomb together, but first, we are to be trained as a Jedi.
And the best way to do it in a quick enough time so that way we can save the galaxy is a Rocky-inspired montage. Our mentor, Master Jar, is blown away with our progress. We have accomplished in weeks what it takes many to learn in years. Soon our apprenticeship will be complete, and we can become a full member of the Jedi Order. But first we must complete 3 tests. The first test is learning the Jedi Code, the founding mantra of the Jedi, making its first major appearance outside of a small reference in The Phantom Menace. There is no emotion. There is peace.
There is no ignorance. There is knowledge.
There is no passion. There is serenity.
There is no chaos. There is harmony.
There is no death. There is the Force. These are the words that the Jedi live their lives based upon, the founding principles that make a Jedi a Jedi. Don't give in to your emotions.
Remember, concentrate on the moment. Feel, don't think. Use your instincts.
Find inner peace by embracing the Force and allow it to guide you through. Trust it. Embrace it.
This is the first major time we have had a deep dive into the inner workings of the Jedi Order. And while these words to the outsider may seem just like a simple turn of phrase to sell posters or t-shirts, when you take the words and explore the context of the universe, you can see the impact these simple words have had. A great example can be found in The Phantom Menace. Obi-Wan is visibly upset when Qui-Gon is stabbed, and is unbalanced when he faces Maul alone. His anger amplifies his strength, and he puts up a good fight, but is defeated and left holding on for dear life at Maul's mercy. It's only when he calms down and lets the Force guide him that he is able to win.
After proving we have learned the Jedi Code and what it means, for our second test, we are given the directive to construct our lightsaber and also select our Jedi class. Now, there are 3 Jedi classes, and they are basically upgrades to the classes that you pick at the start of the game. And while you are free to choose the class that you want, for best results, you're going to want to pick the class that is a continuation of the class you picked at the start. So for Amped will be a Jedi Sentinel, but for Megantron, she will become a Jedi Guardian. I should also mention that you can also fake swearing your oath to the Jedi if your persuasion skill is high enough, and those old fools will believe you, so you can be much more sneaky and dark-sidey if you want to become a Sith in this game.
But do not let your head be filled with visions of glory and power. Such thoughts are the path to the dark side.
After getting our crystal and constructing our lightsaber, we are given our final test. Outside the walls of the Enclave lies a grove from where in recent days a dark taint has spread, causing the native Kathhounds to grow violent. We need to investigate the source of this darkness and confront it. We may bring our allies, but no Jedi can assist, meaning Bastila must stay behind. Before leaving, Master Jar gives us one last bit of advice.
But remember this, my young apprentice. A Jedi acts with patience and care, and those on the dark path are not always lost forever.
We bring Mission and Karth along and head out to the plains of Dantooine.
We step outside the Enclave, and it looks like Karth has something on his mind, so we talk to him.
I thought I said I don't want to talk about it anymore. Not particularly. I guess it wouldn't hurt exactly either, though I don't know why you're so interested. When I think of all the men who betrayed us, the one that stands out above all of them is the one that I respected the most, Saul.
You don't. I thought everyone did. But Admiral Saul Karath is the commander of the entire Sith fleet. He's half the reason Malak has done so well in the war. Saul was my commanding officer back when the Mandalorian Wars first began. He taught me everything about being a soldier, and I looked up to him. Saul approached me before he left. He talked to me about how the Republic was on the losing side and about how I should start thinking of my survival. I know now that he was trying to recruit me into the Sith, but I couldn't have conceived of it back then. I argued with him and he got angry and he left. I never saw him again. Saul was my mentor. He led us to so many victories against the Mandalorians. Even when things looked to be at their worst, I couldn't conceive of it. He couldn't be serious. I was wrong, of course. He not only left us for the Sith, he gave them the codes to bypass our scanners. I remember waking up as the first of the Sith bombers snuck past our defenses and began destroying half of our docked ships. I knew right away what had happened. I mean, I could have stopped him. I could have stopped it all. I blame Saul, not myself. I was stupid and I ignored the danger. He nearly destroyed us all. No, I fought Saul for years now, and if I ever catch up to him, he will regret what he's done. He will regret it. Well, there's more to the story, I guess. But I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's go.
After speaking to Carth, we explore the area around us, and it's quite a departure from the bustling upper city of Taris. There are rolling hills, plenty of green, and flying manta rays for some reason. In this outdoor area, there are several people that we can speak to. The first one we meet is a Jedi Knight named Nemo. He bids us hello, and we speak to him for a bit to see if he knows anything about the Grove. He says he knows something, but rightfully guesses that the Council has put us on the path to uncover the secret for ourselves, and becomes tight-lipped on the subject, so we part ways. There are a couple other people that we meet. The first is a desperate man seeking vengeance for his daughter. The Mandalorian thug slayed his daughter and destroyed his home, and he's pleading with us to eliminate them. Although the code tells us not to do so, there's just something in the back of our mind that is telling us that we agree with this man and we need to avenge him. There is also a more comedic questline about finding a missing droid, which we will pick up and complete, but we won't go into detail about it just for the flow of this video.
We explore the plains and come across several packs of Kathhounds. These gruesome beasts, while not very strong, can swarm you and cause some issues if you're not on your toes. We fight our way through them, and we come into contact with a group of Mandalorian mercs harassing a farmer. The farmer is desperate and even offers his wife and kids in exchange for his own life. The Mandalorian laughs and guns him down, but still plans on taking the wife and child for his own, that is, until they spot us. We engage the brute and his Duros allies, giving them a taste of our new Force abilities. We make our way through the different areas, striking down the Mandalorians, and eventually we learn the location of their boss. We'll take care of him once we deal with the Grove.
We finally come to the main area of the Grove, and we can sense the dark side oozing from the place. As we go deeper, we come across a woman who is meditating in the ruins. We approach cautiously, but before we can say anything, she stands and uses the Force to paralyze Carth and Mission. We ready our lightsaber, and we fight this would-be Sith. Our blades clash until finally we get the upper hand and she yields. She can't believe that someone was able to beat her, even though she fully submitted herself to the dark side. She explained to us that she accidentally slayed her master in anger during a training session, and now she has no choice but to embrace the dark side, as the Jedi certainly wouldn't take her back for such a horrible mistake. Using what we learned from the Jedi Code, we convince her that there is a better way, and that she can be redeemed. And after some back and forth and convincing, she finally believes us and leaves the Grove to return to the temple to ask for forgiveness.
If I show them, I am free of passion, but I am serene that I am willing to forsake the dark side. And maybe, just maybe, they would accept me back. Do you think they would? Could it be possible after what I have done? I thank you, Master Jedi. I will return to the Council then. I shall submit myself to their judgment and hope they will forgive me. Again, I thank you. I am sure I will hear great things about you in the future.
Now, you are probably wondering what happened in Megan Tron's timeline. Well...
But in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
We fast travel back to the Ebon Hawk, and when we arrive, a female Twi'lek approaches our group and addresses Mission. Against all odds, Lena, the girl Mission's brother was dating, is now standing before us. She tries to be friendly with Mission, but Mission is not having any of it, saying Lena stole her brother and left her behind. Lena is hurt by Mission's words and explains that she wanted Mission to come with them, but Griff had said that Mission wanted to stay on Taris. Mission is flabbergasted and doesn't want to believe it, still being downright nasty to Lena. Lena gives up trying to get Mission to forgive her and says if she doesn't believe her, then she can go to Tatooine and ask Griff herself. Mission asks if we can go to Tatooine at some point, to which we agree, adding the information to our journal.
As we enter the Enclave, we find the Darksider that we fought earlier, and we learn her name is Juhani. She has been welcomed back into the Order with open arms, and even better, her master still lives, and all has been forgiven. She is eternally grateful to us for bringing her back from the darkness. There was another Jedi standing near her who spoke to us when we first arrived here in the Enclave, and she thanks us as well. In Megantron's timeline, however, the results are quite different.
Juhani was a dear companion to me for many years. We spent many nights together alone under the stars. That will never happen again, thanks to you. Curse the Council for sending you, of all people, to speak to her. Could you have done nothing else? Pardon me if I find your apology rather disingenuous. Juhani meant nothing to you, and the Council should have known better than to entrust her life to you. The Juhani I knew deserved more than this. She deserved more from the Council and more from you. You did not even try, did you? Did it even occur to you that Juhani might have been saved? That she might be worth saving? I should kill you for what you've done, and yet I can't, can I? I'm a Jedi, and we are sworn to protect all. Even the likes of you. Get out of my sight. The very thought of the Council and of you makes me ill.
That's right, way before the rise of Skywalker, we had an official lesbian couple in Star Wars. And another fun fact, if you're playing as a female character in Kotor and spare Juhani, you can have her as a love interest if you're into that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not. After taking our leave, we return to the Council and Master Jar. Jar is very pleased with us and reinforces the lessons of the Grove. The temptation of the dark side exists within all of us, but we must fight the darkness within so that way we may become the best version of ourselves. And the best way to do that is by following the code. We are fully inducted into the Jedi Order as a Padawan, an apprentice no longer. And now that our final task is complete, we are given a brand new task of exploring a mysterious set of ruins which may have been the origin point of the vision Bastila and I shared a few days ago. Before we can do anything else, an angry man comes storming in and demands justice. Apparently his son has been taken, and he's sure that the Sandral family, the other major farming family on this portion of the planet, is to blame. The Council asks us to look into it, and we agree. Matali warns, though, what will happen if his son isn't found.
Revengefully, I make this solemn pledge. I shall transform each and every snot-nosed brat on this planet into ancient, ageified senior city zombies before I force them to produce bowl after bowl of sweet, delicious tapioca for me!
We trade lightsabers with Bastila because we are more proficient in two-handed weapons, and Amped wanted Bastila to match the visions and box art of the game, though he still has her wear Jedi robes and not the default clothing for some reason. And then we step out onto the plains of Dantooine once more, and we notice that Nemo is gone. Perhaps we'll be finding Nemo later.
Lights! He said it! He said it!
We could go directly to the hidden ruins, but we decide it would be best to look into the missing Matale boy before things get out of hand. We arrive at the Sandral grounds and are met with a droid who says the master of the house which is not to be disturbed. But when we reveal we are a Jedi, investigating the Matale boy's disappearance, the droid relents and lets us into the house to speak to Mr. Sandral.
Informed by my protocol droid that you wish to speak to me? I brought my family here to find peace and safety, not to be harassed and treated like common criminals. Your council has no authority here, and I respectfully ask you to leave this property at once.
Jedi are renowned for their fairness in pursuit of justice. There is nothing to fear from us, unless you have something to hide.
That's quite a line. You actually believe that? Don't you think someone is allowed to value privacy?
Privacy is all well and good, but justice must be valued higher. Is it not obvious to you that this man hides something?
Actually, it is. All I'm saying is that not everyone welcomes the sight of a Jedi with open arms. Better get used to it.
I trust you will show yourself out. If not, my security droids will be sure to deal with you.
Sandral then asks us to leave, but before we do, his daughter Rahasia stops us and tells us that her father is indeed holding Shin Matali hostage over a perceived murder of Nirek Standal's son. She explains that after her brother's disappearance, her father went mad with grief. She gives us some security codes to the back interest and pleads for us to save him before her father does something drastic.
We tell her that we will take care of it and head back outside. We use the code that she gave us to get into the back entrance, where we are met with a bunch of security droids. We make our way through, cutting down the droids until we find Shin. We tell him that we are here to rescue him, but he refuses to leave without Raisha. You see, the two have fallen in love, and he fears what her father might do once he discovers that he's gone. We convince Raisha to come with us, and we go out to flee. That's when we are stopped by Shin's father, who has arrived with a squad of droids. Soon after, Nurik, Raisha's father, comes out with a group of droids of his own.
There you are, Shin.
Father! Mr. Matale!
Raisha!
Father!
Mr. Sandro!
Nurik! Alan! Donkey!
Because we are shrewd negotiators with a silver tongue, we are able to somewhat calm tempers down, and the two lovers are able to flee and be with one another. However, Matale swears that he will be back once he has some more tapioca pudding. Once the situation is resolved, we come across the Mandalorian leader that we were hunting earlier, and we do battle with him. After defeating him and his squad, we loot the remains and discover 2 lightsabers on them and add them to the collection.
Make a fine addition to my collection.
We do a bit more exploring and find a cave where we get some extra color and power crystals for our lightsaber. As we leave and head back towards the ruins, Karth stops to ask Bastila a question that has been burning in his mind.
Bastila, I was wondering something. How did those Vulkars manage to capture a famous Jedi like you? Were you knocked out when your escape pod crashed?
No, I was conscious. But my force powers were exhausted from using my battle meditation in the battle for the Ender Spire. Without my help, you might have never gotten off the ship alive.
Fair enough, but I've seen you Jedi in action. There's no way those thugs could have stood a chance against your lightsaber.
My lightsaber was misplaced. I couldn't find it after the crash. I looked everywhere in that pod. The Vulkars came and overwhelmed me even as I was searching for my weapon.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You lost your lightsaber? I mean, isn't that a violation of some kind of Jedi code or something?
This is no laughing matter. During the crash, my lightsaber must have fallen from my belt and rolled under my seat. The Vulkars probably found it there when they searched the wreckage.
Hey, don't get mad. I'm sorry. It's just funny to think of a legendary Jedi losing her lightsaber. Take my advice. This is one detail you might want to keep out of the history texts.
I hardly consider myself a legend, Karth, though I will consider your advice when I relate these events to the Jedi Council. There is no need for them to know every detail of what transpired.
After a bit more teasing, we finally give it a rest, and we spot another Jedi named Baluk, who is investigating a potential murder and asks for our assistance. We agree and now find ourselves in a good old-fashioned whodunit. We start with the facts and evidence. A man named Calder Nedic was shot and killed early this cloudy morning. A blaster was found next to the body covered in blood. Both this blaster and blood sample have been sent back to the lab for analysis. To assist us with the crime, Baluk has brought a droid to help us fact-check the stories of the suspects, who it's now time to meet.
The first suspect, a man named Hayden, tells us that he was out for a run and heard a blaster shot. When he went to investigate, he discovered the body, and then he saw the other suspect, a man named Rickard, in the distance, armed with a blaster rifle. Hayden promptly then called the authorities, who sent a Jedi out to the scene immediately. Rickard, for his part, claims that he was hunting, and while he was aiming, the sun was in his eyes, preventing him from seeing where the shot landed. When he came to collect his trophy, he found the victim with Hayden, standing over the body. It's easy to deduce that Richter is lying. It was cloudy at the time of the murder, so his version of the events don't hold up.
It's a good start, but it's not enough to prove Rickard guilty. Next, we delve into the relationships between the victim and the suspects. Handon claims he barely knew him, while Rickard admits they were business partners. Our information droid confirms Rickard's statement, but contradicts Handon's, as he and the victim were seen renting a speeder together. When pressed, Handon admitted that he knew Calder, and that his wife had also been having an affair with him. He pleads that he was simply out for a run to clear his mind before the divorce. Despite this, it's a clear motive.
The next crucial piece of evidence is the blaster found next to the victim's body. Hayden claims that it was his, but it had been stolen. The information droid we have, however, confirms that that is a lie. All signs point to Hayden as the murderer.
The final piece of evidence to investigate is the blood sample found on the rifle. Initially believed to belong to the victim, our analysis droid confirms that it doesn't match Calder's blood type. It can only belong to the killer. We report our conclusions back to Baluk, who examines the men, and discovered Handon, who had been clutching his side, is indeed wounded.
Bullock summarizes the case as such. Hayden murdered Calder over the affair, only to be accidentally shot by Rickard and promptly called the authorities. On one hand, it makes sense, but it doesn't line up with Rickard's initial claims of the sun blinding him, so it couldn't have been an accident. The information droid earlier confirmed that Rickard and Calder had a major fight over their business, which gives Rickard his own motive.
How did you know?
Elementary, sir. I simply use my eyes and my brain. Eyes and brains, Moriarty. Eyes and brains.
Which proves that both men set out to murder the victim. Handon actually killed him, while Rickard mistook Handon for Calder and shot him, causing Handon to drop the rifle found covered in blood. Baluk thanks us for our assistance and places the men under arrest while we earn the praise of Bastila and Karth.
After taking care of the needs of people of Dantooine, we finally make our way to the temple we saw in our vision. Once inside the temple, we see a dark, gloomy, and foreboding feeling oozing around us. We open the inner door and we are met with a strange droid.
You are not Saren, rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh. You touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance, incapable of understanding. There is a realm of existence so far beyond your own, you cannot even imagine it. I am beyond your comprehension. I am sovereign.
We are astounded to learn that this droid has been here longer than the Republic has even existed. It also keeps referencing something called the Star Forge, which we have no idea what that is, and we will try to see if the Masters maybe know something upon returning to the temple. We then notice a body laying on the ground near the droid, and we come to find it's Nemo. The droid tells us Nemo failed to solve the trials, presumably because of his bad fin, so we attempt to perform the trials ourselves, after whacking the other droids with our glow stick for what seems like an eternity.
Continue attack. We are the harbinger of your perfection. And now you stand alone, Shepard. Ignore the fallen.
We solve the various puzzles involving the terminals, and once we complete them, the final door opens. We enter the room and find a strange artifact. Upon stepping close, the device comes to life and reveals a map of the galaxy highlighting other worlds. Tatooine, the desert planet, because it can't be a Star Wars entry without going to Tatooine. Kashyyyk, the forest world and home of the Wookiees. Manon, a water planet. And Korriban, the homeworld of the ancient Sith and current location of the Sith Academy.
We exit the temple and fast travel to the Ebon Hawk, so we can go and inform the council. But before we enter the chambers, it looks like something is bothering Bastila, so we speak to her, and we're really smooth about it.
How can I help? No, not bothering me. Not exactly. I've been thinking about what the Jedi Council said about the two of us. There is a bond between us, I do not dispute that. I can feel it, as I'm sure you can. The nature of that bond and its effect on our mission remain in question. Please. I'm a Jedi. Such feelings, such attractions are, well, they're beneath me, quite frankly. I admit I find you intriguing. I find your command of the Force intriguing, but my interest in you is purely academic. Surely you can understand why. Our fates are strongly connected. So connected that a literal bond has been forged between us. I saw your service records when you were transferred aboard the Ender Spire, but nothing beyond that. I know very little about you. I'd like to ask you some questions, given our relationship. I was referring to the bond we share. The one the Jedi Council spoke of. If I was actually interested in you, rest assured I could come up with a much better approach than this. Touched a nerve? No. Getting on my nerves? Most definitely. I suppose this is what you men consider being witty. Now, are you going to answer my questions, or would you rather just keep annoying me? Don't worry, these are simple questions, nothing too intrusive. First, what kind of background do you have? Good. On which planet were you born? Excellent. Your current age is? Yes. Well, the truth is, I was studying how you responded to my questions. Your reactions helped me judge you. This was a test for me to learn more about your character. You were honest, which is good. And you treated this as a serious matter, which it is. This bond we share will shape both our destinies. It is not to be taken lightly. But I imagine you've had enough questions for a while. So many things have happened to you since Taurus. It's probably a lot for you to absorb. We can speak again later, after you've had time to think about all this.
After flirting with Bastila, we head into the council chamber and reveal what we have found out. The council dismisses us so they can discuss the matter and what should be done. Later that day, they bring us back, and the council agrees that Bastila and I, along with our companions that we found on Terrace, should be the ones to find the star map, thanks to Bastila and I's powerful bond. We ask when we leave, and they say immediately. But before we go, Master Vrook gives us a dire warning.
Look, Jack, the lure of the dark side is difficult to resist. I fear this quest to find the Star Forge will lead you down an all the familiar path. Now let's get some ice cream.
We've been through a lot this episode, from narrowly surviving the destruction of Terrace to taking our first steps as Jedi. And it's nice to finally leave Terrace, and now that we're done with Dantooine, the story will really start firing on all cylinders.
Dantooine at its core is a lot shorter than Terrace. After the training montage, we really only have two main quests that are both rather short. Side quests are also fewer, but still of a nice variety, and I think that works to this planet's enjoyment factor. While this world is a mandatory pit stop in the narrative, it thankfully doesn't overstay its welcome.
While we aren't sure of the dangers we will face as we begin our search for the star maps, what we do know is that as long as we trust in the bond that Bastila and we share, and moreover trust in the Force, we are sure to tackle any obstacle. Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a labor of love, and we can't wait to continue making more of these episodes. If you enjoyed it, do us a favor and hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already, so that way you don't miss out on episode 3, and check out the other videos we make as well. Until next time, I'm AMPEDHERO.
And I'm Sith.
And we will see you on the next episode of A Certain Point of View. Next time on A Certain Point of View, the race to find the star maps begins as our heroes travel to the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk. Upon arrival, Zalbar reveals that there is a reason why he left his world, and our heroes soon find themselves locked in a family feud that puts their mission in jeopardy. Will our heroes find the star map? What sinister secrets await on the planet's surface? Why did Zalbar leave his home? All these answers and more will be revealed on the next exciting episode of Star Wars KOTOR, A Certain Point of View.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.